Let's finish blocking in the villain's attack. So at this point, after the villain is missed, the blue character would then get ready for her counter attack. However, the red character, again, is going to continue the assault. We wouldn't want her to just stay in this spot and wait for the blue character to respond. So we always want to think about the character's thoughts. So with that said, I'm going to go back to the second character's character set. Again, to keep track of our keys. And to kind of finish this pose up, we'll go to the sword arm and bring that down a bit more. We'll also want to tweak the shoulders. Okay. Now for the chest, being that on the frame before it's kind of twisted out for the attack, naturally it's going to go ahead and twist in the opposite direction on frame 15. And because it has as much twisting as it does, because it's posed the way it is, to make this a little bit easier, I'll go to the rotate channels and zero those out on frame 15. And we can go ahead and rotate the chest back down. And it's a lot easier to get the pose we need that way. It's a little trick I like to keep in mind, especially, again, when the animation control may seem a bit difficult to work with. Can make it more manageable that way by first zeroing out our channels. You can see the shoulder needs work, no problem at all. So we'll just need to rotate that down. Again, the arm will auto-correct itself. Okay, great. Now, what about the opposite arm? Well, that's going to also swing forward. So we'll have that happen. We need to make sure she's keeping her balance. We also need to make sure that we're rotating our wrist in the right direction. Something important to keep in mind as well to avoid weird twisting issues that we'll have to clean up in the graph editor. So always keep in mind your character's orientation. So we'll want to bring the elbow down also. Let's grab that shoulder, fix it, rotating that down. And then to avoid twinning in the arm, we'll go ahead and lower the left arm a little bit more. Again, we get a more natural pose that way. How about the head control and the neck? Well, for the neck, let's go ahead and rotate that down slightly. But then for the head, yes, it'll be brought down a bit more because of the follow through and the action, but not as much. If we were to bring it down more, that might be too cartoony when it's time to animate the head's follow through. So I'd say that's looking pretty good. It might make a slight tweak to the hip just to get a better line of action in the back. And rotating that down a bit more. Now we can scrub through to take a look at the animation. That looks good. Okay, so remember, the red character, after she's realized that she is missed, she's going to continue her attack. So with that said, what we're going to do to kind of finish up this first part before she gets knocked down is to have her rise up again to get ready for another swing. So let's go to actually our translate controls. We'll go ahead and select our script. We'll deselect the feet. We could also deselect the knees, and we'll translate the character up on frame 19. And then we can have her upper body now start to twist. So I'll grab the center of gravity control and twist the opposite direction. For her foot, just taking a look at this, scrubbing back and forth, that's going to kind of twist for this attack she's about to do. So on frame 19, we'll go to our toe control and kind of twist that. And then the ball of the foot, that will need to be fixed so that the foot is a bit more comfortable. Okay, great. Now for the rest of the upper body, Let's go to our back control and zero that out. Do the same thing for the chest, zero out our rotation. And looking at this, we might also zero out position. Okay. And then what I'll do from here is grab the back control and then kind of arch the back, just rotating that down a bit more. Go to the center of gravity. Maybe rotate it at an angle in the z-axis. That's been added on frame 20. I'll just go to 19, press the S key to lock the pose in, and delete the key on 20. Now for the chest, keep in mind we're getting follow through here, so as the body rises up, we won't want the chest to be at the angle it's in right now. It's going to be rotated down in the direction that she is coming from. But remember, she's looking at her target. So for the head, we wouldn't want that rotated down. We want that to point at the target, which would naturally happen. So I'll go ahead and bring the neck up by first zeroing it out so it's a bit more manageable. Bring it up a little bit more, and then for the head, we'll rotate that up towards where the blue character would be. Okay, just about done here. Now, for the swordless arm, her left arm, that's going to be brought up. The elbow up also, preparing for this next attack. She's gathering the force she'd need to make the attack devastating. So I'll make sure that's on frame 19. Great. This is looking pretty good. I might want to bring that arm over a bit more and out. And kind of rotate the wrist down. Just thinking about the follow through. If we think about these things ahead of time during our blocking pass, we naturally get it, or a majority of it, when we smooth the action out. So it's a matter of smart blocking, thinking of things ahead of time. Now for the sword, to get that ready for the attack, of course for the anticipation, we're going to want to rotate that back. And then also bring the arm back. The elbow brought down. Okay, great. And let's make sure this is really threatening. So we'll go ahead and bring that arm out a bit more to exaggerate the pose. So it at least looks like she's going to put a lot of force into that swing. And naturally we'll need to fix the shoulder. Now for the right knee, let's go ahead and take a look at that. Might want to bring that in just a little bit more. But then take the hips and rotate those out. Thinking about the position of the legs. Great. So I kind of like this pose. I think that would be a good way to have the villain kind of appear to continue her assault. Looking at the angle of the sword, might want to bring that up just a bit more. Now we can go ahead and scrub through and take a look at things. So, as she's now kind of landed and now she's starting to attack again, might want to shift her body a bit more in the direction that she's about to attack. So just go ahead and select her controls, deselect the feet. Just translate her slightly more in the opposite direction. Okay, great. All right, so we have finished the first half of the villain. So what's next is to animate her fall. So that's going to be pretty exciting stuff. Again, we're going to have her spiral till she hits the floor. So we need to be very careful about the way we rotate our controls. But I'll go ahead and stop the lesson here, and in the next lesson we will start to animate the second half of our villain's performance.